YSK If someone uses an iPhone for their alarm, you can call them and it will end the alarm. Why YSK? You should know this because you never know when you're going to be really tired and really annoyed by a housemate's alarm. If someone's alarm isn't waking them up, call them, it will end the alarm. You can just call and immediately hang up and the alarm will stop. I would recommend using this sparingly as you don't want to be the reason someone is late, but if you know something or someone else will wake them up later, I'd say go for it. After all, why should your sleep be interrupted just because they can't turn off their alarm when they set it? In college back in the days of alarm clocks, one guy left for the weekend and forgot to turn off his alarm. The RA said that they weren't allowed to go into the room, so we just had to deal with it until he got back. Luckily somebody figured out where the building circuit breaker was. Does it snooze the alarm or totally turn it off? Jesus fuck, thank you for this. Never knew that. Someone cross-post this to our unethical life pro tips. Hey boss, sorry I'm late. Don't know why my alarm didn't ring this morning. Also, some dude gave me missed calls at 7.00, 7.05, 7.10, 7.15, 7.19 and 7.20. That's a pretty whack feature from Apple. What if you miss an important alarm because of a random coincidental wrong number or telemarketer? Enjoy calling my phone every 5 minutes for the next hour and a half to kill all of my alarms. Different take here, but I think phone alarms should automatically stop ringing after a certain number of minutes. I mean, it doesn't make sense for an alarm to just ring forever. I don't understand how people don't wake up on their alarms. I hear the first note and I'm awake, either hitting snooze or turning that crap off. Some people will sleep through 5 alarms with their phone sitting on their chest. Drives me nuts. Jesus, where was this info 9 years ago when I had a roommate who let his alarm go off non-stop every Saturday morning? I scrolled to this while in bed, the wife showering downstairs, and the exact same time I read your caption. Her alarm went off. I love you. I promise I will have you signed up for every telemarketing scam that I can find if you interrupted my hour-long awakening ritual. Oh my god, thank you. My husband keeps his alarm on for hours, a serial snoozer married to a never snoozer, and will go get ready and his phone will be "son, we're going off," driving me bonkers. We'll call it now instead of stopping what I am doing to go look for it to turn it off. This may save my relationship. Like, I have sympathy for you poor folk who cannot seem to wake up, but I have felt close to hysterically desperate in the past because of roommate's alarm. He did have an iPhone, but also had severe anger issues, so that probably would have been a bad idea. Fucking thank you. My GF will do like 30 alarms and be in the shower and away for half of them while emo trying to get my last little bit of sleep, lol. You can also yell, "Hey Siri, turn off alarm." My mom has a shit ton of alarms and forgets to delete them sometimes, so when her phone goes off everyone pulls out their phones to call her Lamau. If their alarm has been going off for 10 minutes and they're still not awake, I am not the reason they are late for ending their obviously pointless alarm. I do this frequently when my work phone alarm goes off, but I don't want to go downstairs to turn it off yet. My coworker, who always has his phone at max volume, uses what I used as an alarm for his ring. I would be filled with rage every time his phone rang. Works on Android. Source: a roommate did it to me once because I wouldn't wake up. In Afghanistan, the hooch across from me had my old roommate back in the States. I knew he had a problem with turning his alarm off. Also used one particular song. One morning after a long shitty night, he slept entirely through his alarm for about 10 minutes. I snapped. Later during our teamed meeting, my CO says all I hear is Doc kicking a door and screaming about Darude sandstorm, and I don't want to wake up like that again. Turn your shit off or change it to something that wakes you up. Back in high school I lived for a little while in a dorm with a girl that could simply not be woken up. She had an iPhone and her alarm was some sort of stupid chicken song that went on forever. The phone was on her chest and she didn't fucking flinch. I will never forget her. Couldn't you use this to set up a call bot to intentionally sabotage someone's alarm every single day? This life hack has saved me many times from having to get out of bed and beat my roommate's door off the hinges. They get pissed, well, why didn't you just wake me up? I was late for class and missed my exam. Not my fucking problem. Thank you so much. Wish I knew this in college. Wanted to kill my roommate every morning. This may be the most useful thing I've ever read on this sub. I did this to a roommate who was a complete dick to me in college. He'd come into the room drunk and blast out loud some action movie from his laptop at like 3 a.m. One time, he came into the room at 2 a.m. wasted. His alarm later went off at 4 a.m. so I kept calling his number to shut it off. He was so drunk that he wasn't fazed by it at all and I just assumed he set it by accident. Later at around 11 a.m., I hear him frantically get up and call his mom, freaking out about how he'd missed a flight for something. Anyway, I also recommend using 67 for this neat trick. Holy shit, thank you. I had no idea, and my husband often falls asleep on the couch and every morning that he does I end up screaming for him to turn off his alarm. He has to be up at 6 a.m. but his alarms start at 5:30 a.m., then 5:45, then finally 6. Somehow this helps him wake up, but all it really does is drive me nuts. Definitely will be using this tip. I don't understand how alarms don't wake people up. Mine is set to vibrate first and then slowly ramp up the sound. I don't think I've ever heard the sound. YSK If someone uses an iPhone for their alarm, you can call them and it will end the alarm. There, I fixed it for you. If someone's alarm wakes me up and not them, I aggressively wake them all. They must surely want to be awake at that moment, and I'm just helping them be on time. After all, they definitely wouldn't intend to be inconsiderate and cause trouble to anybody else with multiple snooze. They can't blame you for switching it off and making them late. 100 success rate at solving this problem, within a week. Actually did this back when I lived in dorms. My friend didn't wake up and alarm rang for 5 minutes while he's in bed. My classes started way later and I did this to turn off his alarm after a couple minutes of ringing. This seems like it could be used to prank. Call the moment the clock changes and immediately hang up before it rings too much. Good thing I use a real alarm clock. Yup. Have done. Does it just snooze it? Or get rid of it entirely? I had someone call me when my alarm was going off and it made the alarm stutter a bit but wouldn't let me answer the call no matter how many times I hit the answer button. Does this work when these people have thousands of consecutive alarms set up? I replaced my Android with an iPhone when Verizon upgraded to 5G in my area and my Samsung flip phone no longer worked. I still use the calendar on the old phone for alerts for appointments or as an alarm. The Apple iPhone 14 Plus has mostly been a disappointment from the moment I opened the box they mailed.